Hello, it's James Willoughby again, bringing you another installment of What's Happened in the Austin Real Estate Market, where weekly we discuss the statistics and the other market trends that are going on in the Austin, Texas real estate market. And this week is an interesting week. I think this is an interesting time of the year. Of course, we're now into November, so we have statistics for the first the first week of November. And let's see what happened. So I think if you were watching last week, I said, well, look at the overall listings are going down. So we were been above 10,000 for some time. Well, we just went under 10,000. Now this is the Austin MSA, and these are townhomes, condos, and single family. So just to make sure, because you're going to see different numbers and different people are quoting different things, but this is what the Austin Board of Realtors quote. So our numbers should be in alignment with the Austin Board of Realtors. So listing inventory about the same as it was last year. Remember, listing inventory always comes down at the end of the year. So that's good for sellers that are trying to sell at the end of the year. Now this one I had to do a double take. Remember last week, the new active listings went down quite a bit. We only had 615 go on the market, but then this week it bounced up to 710. So usually we see a smoother, graph line for whatever reason. And I'm banging my head to figure out why it was so different one week to the next. And we couldn't find anything statistically or holiday wise or anything that would cause that anomaly other than, different people do different things, but it's kind of an interesting fluctuation. Now we go down here to new pendings. Last week, the pendings were actually higher than the new listings. The new pendings for the week were a few listings higher. This week, there's a bigger split. So we only had 559 go pending this last week. Versus the week before where we were at 650. So I don't know, less than 100 change, but I can kind of feel it. We were seeing at our open houses this week, maybe a little bit less traffic. We had a couple of them where nobody showed up. And the explanation on that's probably we started out on the price too high. The one that had a no-show was over the price point we recommended. But in any event, those are the statistics for that. Now, last week I said, we're going to look at failed listings that expired or were withdrawn. And I said at the end of every month we have a spike. So if you sit back and look at this graph here, this is the whole year's worth of expired listings, and you can see that every month at the end of the month, that they spiked up. Well, we spiked at the highest level for the year other than January 1st, because that's picking up statistics from last year. So that's always going to be the highest because at the end of the year, a lot of people call it quits. But at the end of a month, a lot of people call it quits. Right now we're at 463 people. So despite the fact that we sold fewer homes than the week before, the inventory going away was more dramatic because it was the end of the month. So when we look at that, that brings us to the next graph, and let's just click on it so we don't mess it up here. 2023, here we go. All right, so we want to just look at this year's information, okay? So we had a little downturn last week in terms of weeks of inventory, and then it popped up this week to one of the highest levels of the year, only because we had kind of a weird week. So is that the beginning of a trend? I don't think so. I mean, last week we were asking the same question on why the graph was inverted. So this is the time of the year where it's like one week you're a hero, and the next week you're a zero. It gets a little spotty. There's football games. There's all kind, people getting in while the weather's so beautiful, getting in some day trips and stuff like that. So I know my friends are headed out to Fredericksburg and stuff like that for the weekend. And, while I'm back home doing open houses, they're having fun. But anyway, so we're at 17.7. I think this will level down next week. I think we should be, between 16 and 17 weeks of supply this time of the year. Once again, that's actually a pretty healthy market stat. So, and then the first time we've seen interest rates come down a little bit since it had been going up consistently since the beginning of September. So the first week of November, we measure this based on Freddie Mac, and it came down to 7.76, still higher than anybody wants it to be, but it's the first time it didn't go up week over week in like 8 weeks. So hopefully that is the beginning of a trend, and we'll just let you know. All right, so let's see what happens next week. I'm hoping for good things. We got nice weather, no rain in the forecast that's going to take people down and not show homes. So let's see what happens, and we'll report more next week on what's happening in the Austin real estate market. Thanks.